Okay, Deepakanandji, please follow.
Okay. Namo Vitragai.
Namo Vitragai.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Loe Sava Sahunam.
Namo Loe Sava Sahunam.
Ekso Panchanamukaro.
Eso Panchanamukaro.
Savapavapanasano.
Savvapavappanashano.
Mangalanam cha Savesim.
Mangalanam cha Savesim.
Padamam Havai Mangalam.
Padamam Havai Mangalam.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand. Atma, welcome to the English Satsang of Vitrag Vignan. Ananya, do you have any question in English?
Haryana.
Haryana. Haryana. Okay. We'll go with Kashyap. Haryana, you have any question?
Aryan beta puche se Rajni Dada. No question.
No question. Everything is okay?
Mama sick and
Haryana, you are happy?
beta bol. Dekho.
Always happy?
Yes.
Oh, okay, you're a good girl. Very good. Okay, Jai Satchidanand. Kashyap bhai?
Everyone, Jai Satchidanand, Rajniji, Jai Satchidanand, Deepakanandji.
Satchidanand.
I've sent you two posters, one in the blue, please. Gujarati. Can you share?
Yeah, 1 minute.
Should I read?
It's okay. Dada Bhagwan says, one who is confused, don't further confuse him. Then only you get benefited.
જે ગુંચાયેલા હોય તમે તેને વધારે ના ગૂંચવો તો ફાયદો થાય અગર તો તેની ગૂંચ કાઢો તો ખૂબ ફાયદો થાય.
So if you take out his settle or remove his puzzle, then you get benefited more.
The last sentence, પણ ગૂંચ વાંચે લને ગૂંચવે તો શું થાય? What it means? ગૂંચ વાંચે લે.
But if you further puzzle the person who is already confused, or confuse the person who is already puzzled.
Yes.
Then what happened?
Yeah, this is what I want to understand.
So what it means that if someone is confused, someone is puzzled, someone is having problem, have confusion, then if you don't bother him, you don't puzzle him, you don't confuse him, then it is one level of benefit you get, because you're not disturbing him. You're not doing anything wrong to him. But if you solve his puzzle, if you remove his confusion, then you get benefited the most. More you get benefited. But by chance, if you further confuse the person, then it is very dangerous because it reaches the inner God. So don't forget that God resides within that person. So if you are handling any individual, remember you are dealing with a living God. That's the idea. So if you, it's like, if you cannot remove the confusion, it's fine, still you are benefited. But if you remove his confusion, you are benefited more. But if you further confuse the person, then it is very dangerous, because you are hurting him and that's going to come back to you. You're not dealing with the death,
Okay,
but you are living that.
I sort of understood that you means you should try to see the circumstances and then only
No, individual, what exactly you are doing.
Okay. And can I ask one more small one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Buddhi to enu manave tyare chode.
1 minute. What it says, intellect is such, one way or the other, it will try to make its point followed by you. If you follow, somehow it will make you follow its point. You understand?
Yeah. So what we should do? I mean, what is the
The only thing is, when you have right solution through prajna shakti, then there's no problem. But then only the buddhi, because knowledge is above buddhi, above intellect. So intellect surrenders to knowledge. You understand?
Yes. Thank you.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand. Akshay bhai.
Jai Satchidanand, Deepakanandji. Jai Satchidanand.
Jai
Satchidanand.
Satchidanand.
My question is related to understanding Akshay and understanding Akshay's Prakruti. In the past, files around me have shared their feedback that Akshay's Prakruti is emotional. And I want to understand this emotional Prakruti so that I can understand on my own self when circumstances happens. I can understand that I'm getting emotional here, or is it not emotional?
Right. There is also one more thing. Who did you ask? And that makes a lot of difference. Because at times when I want some favors from you, special favors from you, and your attention is somewhere else, then I will make a remark like this for you, that you are very emotional.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes. So,
right. So basically
question,
emotion. Okay, go ahead now.
The feedback was from Aptputra. When I was a child, I was the situation where I got a feedback, multiple situations I got feedbacks, but the situation I remember when I got a feedback was I got very emotional and stood in front of Aptputra and youth that was being scolded, that you should not scold him. I got that emotional.
Right. So that's fine. So that was the situation. But then now what is your observation? Because now you can recall that whole situation, the way Aptputra dealt with the youth, and they probably scolded the youth. And now you may recap and try to understand that what was the situation, what was done by Aptputra, was it right or wrong?
Right. So after analyzing that situation, also analyzing situation Akshay goes through in day to day, what I observed is why Akshay got in between is because he feels so attached to someone that anyone scolding that person, it feels like he or she, the other person, is scolding me, myself. And another aspect, many things I have seen is I have my own prejudice or my own world that I think that the other person is not understanding. Especially it happens when two people or someone comes to me complaining about someone else. I always try to put it such that don't matter, you know, he's this, he's that, he's good, he's so is that emotional, and where can I know that I'm getting emotional?
No, it's like we can, or one can consider that as an emotional aspect if you're talking only from one side. See, when you are considered as not emotional is when your dealing is balanced.
Right.
So if we just casually analyze a situation where someone is, Aptputra is scolding a youth. So a third person like you, let's say, that you feel that Aptputra scolding to you, I mean, scolding a youth is not wrong, not bad, but probably he scolded more than what was needed. That is a possibility. So in that situation, you will try to intervene and say that, oh, it's not necessary, or whatever way you try to intervene.
Right.
So this is the possibility. Now, if we consider that when Aptputra is scolding someone, then probably he has seen something seriously wrong being done by the youth, and they want to stop him.
Right.
Now, there is again a possibility from Aptputra's side that they may overdo it. But overdoing in any situation is also possible, and afterwards, he's definitely going to realize that, oh, it was a little more, because the person got upset and it probably didn't do good, probably. So then what is he going to do? He's also going to do pratikrama. He's also going to correct himself. Do you understand?
Right.
So it's not that you were wrong, not that he was wrong, but now if the point comes when the youth comes to you and says that why did Aptputra scold you? Then you can analyze and tell him that, see, they haven't scolded all of you. Why did he particularly scolded you? Because maybe you have done something wrong, which you only would know, or you know it better than any one of us. And if something they have known, if Aptputra has known that you have done something wrong, then it is his duty to stop you. And certain time, if you want to really convey the message, then certain times you have to scold the person to clarify or to put pressure or give importance to that point by scolding. And even after doing that, he would be doing pratikraman anyway.
Right.
Because that was what Dada Bhagwan was also doing. So I believe that's how you have to say that if we commit, see, mistakes are committed out of knowledge. I mean, we can say like inadvertently things just happen. And when you don't correct yourself, that is where it is wrong. When a mistake is committed, you must correct. And if you have already corrected, if a mistake is committed and you have already corrected, then you won't feel bad. You will accept, you're right. What you say is right. It was a mistake on my part. I'm very sorry. There itself, you will confess and accept and correct yourself.
Understood.
Yeah, so that's how when things come to you, like it is possible that Divya's mama scolds Divya and she comes to you and says, Papa, Mama is scolding me. Then how are you going to deal? You can't say that Mama is wrong. So you have to say that, oh, it seems that you haven't done anything wrong. Is that Mama is scolding you just without any reason? No, probably yes, that's how she is. But she feeds you well, she takes you out, she takes care of you. And that doesn't mean, I mean, that shows that she really cares for you. Then why did she scold you? Did you do anything wrong? Maybe you don't know you have done anything wrong, but Mama will not scold you if you haven't done anything wrong. So understand that you have done something wrong and that's why Mama is scolding you. Maybe you're not realizing it. So then, yeah, that's true. If she's doing so much for me, when she will not scold me just out of any reason. Correct? So that's how. You have to patch it up. In between anything comes to you, you cannot take just one side, because it's like typically if she says that my friend beat me up or dealt with me rudely, then your reaction could be one-sided. It is possible. So you have to make them face the situation boldly with a balance, so that they don't go on one side. Because they have to learn to deal with everyone without getting affected. After all, they must learn to handle the situation positively, and certain things, they should not take charge of any situation in their hands. Very important, especially when they are at school, or even I feel if they are nearby, then they must always go and complain to the teacher. It is better.
Right.
It is always better, because then situation can really become bad if they do anything of their own. Because it's like they are not authorized to take any action. So let the teacher decide. Better. Correct?
Right.
So that's how. And that emotional part of anyone's nature is related to how you react to situation against the disturbance that comes to you. Some people may not react much, some people may react much more. Then when the reactions are more, then they are considered as sensitive or emotional, because for small things, they give big reactions.
Right.
And gradually in the process, because we are continuously observing also ourselves. So at the end of the day, we observe ourselves, we come to know our mistakes, where we have overdone in situations. That's how you will correct yourself also. Right? Jai Satchidananda.
Jai Satchidananda.
Ariana?
Why do we have to do Kirtan Bhakti?
Oh, Kirtan Bhakti. Okay. Do you know your way to your school? Then Mama takes you, right? So, what Dada has given this Kirtan Bhakti to reach him. And where is Dada Bhagwan? Where is he? Right? Within us.
Ariana?
Correct. He's there within us. So, Kirtan Bhakti is the easiest way, simplest way to reach our inner Dada. Correct?
Yes.
So, it's like it's a connecting link between us and inner Dada. And if there is any, you are upset with Ba, you're upset with Dada, you're upset with Mom, you're upset with Anaya, na? Your sister? And maybe you're upset with Daddy, then does it happen sometimes? You get upset with any one of them? Then you do pratika, because see, they might have done something and you feel upset. Correct? That's what happens. But they won't do anything without you doing anything wrong. Correct? So to correct and resolve the situation, you do this Kirtan Bhakti by putting your mistake, that okay, whatever, knowingly or unknowingly, I may have done something wrong, but I want to correct myself. So for that correction, I am doing this Kirtan Bhakti to reach my inner Dada Bhagwan, or so like if you have something happening with Ba, then to reach Dada Bhagwan within Ba, you can do Kirtan Bhakti. It is very easy and easily it gets connected and your problem gets solved. Okay. Truly, it means if you want to reach anybody's heart, anybody's inner Dada, then this Kirtan Bhakti is the easiest and shortest way to reach. Okay.
Understand?
So, Ariana, so when you have some trouble with friends,
Okay.
Papa, Mama, Dada, Dadi, what do you do?
Kirtan Bhakti.
With
Do
a
you know how to
prayer.
do Kirtan Bhakti?
What?
Do you know how to do Kirtan Bhakti?
Yes.
Can you give a sample?
You make your way good. It's okay, Dada.
They say 2 times, just 2 times. So we know that you know it.
Mutas mula.
Dada Bhagavanana Asima Jai Jaikara Ho. Dada Bhagavanana Asima Jai Jaikara Ho.
Very good.
Yes, you've done it correctly, but the only thing, try to keep your eyes closed so that you don't get distracted. Because when our eyes is open, then whatever we see, we can get distracted, right? So if you close your eyes and do, it will really, you can feel also that it is reaching your inner God or the person you are keeping in mind, it reaches the inner Dada, okay?
And if you close
Very
your
good.
eyes, you can picture Dada Bhagwan in you. You can picture Dada Bhagwan in Ba and the person, any person. You can picture them. Right? Okay, very good. Okay, Mitch. What's going on?
Yes.
What's going on with you? How is your study going on?
It's going good. Right now it's like exam season. So
Do you get frustrated because of exam?
like sometimes like right before the exam, like when we're about to enter the room, at that time, like it gets really like I get really nervous. But like throughout the day I'm like good, but then just like right before the exam, at that point it gets really nervous. But then when I'm doing the exam, it doesn't feel like anything. It feels normal, right? But it's just like that point before when you don't know what's gonna be on the paper. That's when.
Deepakanandji?
So is it possible that they're going to ask you out of syllabus
No, that's not possible.
and you have covered the whole syllabus?
Yeah.
Then you should not worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have read, if you have skipped some lessons, some chapters, then it is justified to worry
Mm-hmm.
or have concern. But if you have gone through and prepared totally, gone through all the chapters, all the lessons, then you don't have to worry. So tell your mind, don't worry. It is going to come from our syllabus only, and you have gone through it. So be confident and just feel free. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you have to. It's like at times, our mind becomes blank
Yeah.
and we have no answer. So it's like with that blank mind, you really get nervous, you really get disturbed. But when you pacify your mind by saying that, see, it's going to come from your syllabus only, and you have already read, you have gone through, you're prepared thoroughly. So don't worry, just keep cool.
Yeah.
So that time, if it is saved, then your performance in your exam will really improve further.
Mm-hmm.
Because all these disturbance, no disturbance goes without any effect. It does have its effect, less or more. But if you manage the disturbance, then like you nullify the disturbance, then you're done, you're good, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like sometimes like when I'm doing the exam, right, there's like some questions where I don't even know how to even begin with it, and then that starts to like create like some kind of like stress, right, and then that ruins like the rest of the exam as well.
So it's like it gradually it will it will come to you.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, people, they weave sweaters. They weave
Right.
sweater. They
Yeah.
make sweater, right?
Yeah.
Is there any rule that you have to start from a particular place only to finish the sweater?
No.
You can start from anywhere.
Yeah.
But at beginning, it's said that the work begun is work half done.
Yeah.
So you start rolling the ball from whatever you know, and
Yeah.
then your mind will take care.
Mm-hmm.
But that beginning is like breaking ice breaking.
Yeah. That's
So
true.
you just start, that like the first push you give to your car, the ignition is very important. And once
Yeah.
the ignition is given, your car starts rolling, and once it rolls, then you don't know when you caught the highest speed, full speed.
Yeah.
So start from anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter from where you start, but you will definitely end.
Yeah.
Got it? That's it. Jai Satchidana.
Isn't it the
Yes.
golden rule? Ask all the questions of W's, why, what, when, then you'll know.
Yeah.
You know, to the question, ask the 5 W's, then you'll get an answer right away.
Yeah.
That's my experience. You know? My experience is, I always thought if I don't remember anything before going to the exam, I'm well prepared. That's how I went to it. Because it's always like that. Before exam,
Yeah.
your mind goes blank. So
Yeah.
that shows you're well prepared.
Okay.
One more thing is like, gradually it will so happen that the moment the question comes to you, you will have the picture of the whole answer.
Yeah.
It will happen. It will happen. Because you already read through, you already prepared.
Mm-hmm.
But many times it's like it becomes blank. But gradually it will happen that like people who, even when they ask us question, that's how it's like while they are narrating that question itself, our things start moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like when you start reading your question itself, things will start moving in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, finally, when the question is ended, you finish reading the question, it's like the answer is already there in your mind fully.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
That will happen gradually. But for that, you must not have any hangover effect. That's why feel free and be confident that you have studied well, you're not compromised anywhere, you're not cut corners anywhere. So just let it happen naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Jai
Akshay,
Satchidananda.
Deepakanandji, I had a follow-up on the same discussion.
Okay.
Correlates with a situation that I encountered yesterday. One statement you made: no disturbance goes without any effect. I can narrate the situation. I was sitting in office around lunchtime. I thought today evening there is nothing, no need to go out. We'll be mostly at home, and there is no place that we can even go. I know if I tell everyone at home, let's go out, they will say, no, we have already gone out everywhere during this week, so no need to go anywhere. We'll stay home. And so then Akshay was going through internal talk, and Akshay said, maybe, you know what, today we don't want to go home early, because if you go home early or go home at the same time, you go late. So that way, I get less hours of disturbance, or that way. Okay, that thought process went, and nothing further went with that thought process. It so happened that yesterday I was late. I got late, and there was no one holding me to not come out of office. But situations such happened that I stayed. I kept on staying because I was trying to complete something, and I could have waited also for Monday. So my question is, I'm trying to analyze and understand also how Vyavasthit and Sanjogo, like સુવ્યવસ્થિત આવે છે જો ને સંજોગો કેવા આવે છે જો. I'm trying to also see that, but that was a disturbance as per my understanding. That was a disturbance of thought, and that lead to this event. And how
Okay,
could
let us put it the other way around. We can put it better. It's like, in this situation, we end up blaming the disturbance. Who is the culprit? The disturbance is the culprit, as of now, with whatever narration you did. Now let us understand that because that Vyavasthit had to happen, all these things came up as part of the evidence for that thing to happen. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because finally, what happened was that. So all circumstances that led to that happening are part of the Vyavasthit, that part of the cosmic order. Because that happened, and to make it happen, all these things happen. So then everything, you're not blaming the situation then. Correct?
Correct.
Because all evidences are innocent. But we want to put the sole cause of the happening to particular evidence only, which is not correct. Which is not correct. You could sit that late because everything was well with your health also. What if your health was not proper? You were not comfortable. Then definitely that one evidence could have broken this whole event, chain of event, and you would have gone home early.
Right.
Also, there was no emergency call from home that you must come early today.
Right.
So when we analyze situation, then that's how we come to know that, okay, so these possibilities were also there, but this did not happen. So that's how all these things led to that happening. That's fine. So we got the answer to that happening, why it all happened.
Right. But I'm trying to also find out that correlation, like Vyavasthit and evidence, that is a good one. But I'm also trying to understand and correct Akshay, because definitely from the evidence, I can understand Akshay, Prakruti or Akshay's mal to some extent, because that vichar came out, and only through that vichar, knowing that vichar, I can know Akshay's Prakruti, right?
Yes, but then that inspiration of that thought is not Vyavasthit driven, not driven by Vyavasthit. It is part of it is, yes. So we are saying you went through the whole process with that firing, the triggering of that thought, fine. But if you had a call from home, or if you were not well, or for any other emergency situation occurred, then that evidence would not have allowed this thing to happen, and you would have gone home early. So that's fine. See, what is important is the collective contribution of all the evidences make things happen. So you cannot blame any single individual evidence. Any single evidence cannot be blamed as the sole evidence for it to happen. But This is how the world operates. They pick the most possible evidence so that they can put the blame and they can extract what they want to have it from there. For example, 5 partners were there in a motel. 4 were working partner. Basically, their contribution, monetary, financial contribution was like very minimal and equal. But the major contribution was of the 5th partner, who was a medical practitioner, a doctor, but he was not running the motel. So finally, the whole burden, and it so happened that in an emergency situation, 4 rooms caught fire and some lives were also lost. So what the department called? Insurance people, they put the whole blame on that person, the doctor, and he had to shed off with big money. Because anyway, those 4 people were helpless. They didn't have any money to pay. So even if they had nothing. So they worked out, and finally everything, the burden came to the person, doctor. And they have all ways and means to justify their decision. Right? So this is how we have to understand. And when you understand it correctly, then that's how all the evidence come together and work. First of all, was it necessary for a medical practitioner to be part of a business like this when he's earning enough? But see, that greed part, they make people commit such silly mistakes, which is not truly justified. He doesn't need, because as it is, he's not using that money which is there in his stock, but he wants to increase that stock just to pacify his greed, satisfy his greed. And he ended up in this. So this is like that.
To my understanding, now we only have to see all the evidence and understand our own Krodman, Mayro, greed and man.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And keep correcting on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the end result, that is, in the end result, you have your own part of suffering. Like that doctor had his part of suffering, ended up giving a big amount. That was it. It is very interesting when we analyze things, and the best part is the light of knowledge through Prajna Shakti is so effective and so balanced and so deep-rooted. It can reach the finality. What it means, impartially you will be able to analyze the situation and not blame a particular evidence, particular individual only as a sole evidence for things to happen. You can say chain of events started from here, but that doesn't mean that you have to blame that person.
Hey, Deepakanandji, in this Akshay situation, when you was planning all this, was it not that there was too much involved in Akshay rather than
I think it was part of Akshay's inspiration through Vyavasthit Shakti. Why at all did he get this thought on that particular day only? Other days he's not having any thought. Whether he gets involved or not, that eventually led to that happening for which he had to stay late. But then there are other evidence also that played their part, or other evidence did not play their part, so that thing happened. Like it is said that when something is destined to happen, then certain things play their part. Good or bad, right or wrong.
He already decided that, he didn't want to go out, because if we ask people, they say, hey, we have been there, we have been. So
But was that their answer or his answer? That was his anticipation. That was his anticipation that they will say that we have gone everywhere now, there's nothing else left for the weekend.
Yeah, but you don't know what would be his spouse or his daughter.
Yeah, so possibility, we think of that one more possibility. They might say that, that the other day we went into that park, but we could not move much, so let's go again this time. Now, see, one thing very good about this knowledge light is it doesn't leave anything blank or gray. It keeps everything open and justifies your things. Finally, whatever happens is because of these evidences only. What it means, these evidences took part for that thing to happen, period. That's it. No, not to, don't blame anything, yes or no, good or bad. And probably if you go home late and say, why are you late today? Now, what is your answer? Then you might say, why didn't you call me up? I could have done that work on Monday. See? So, when you really analyze all the possibilities, then all these ifs and buts go away.
Right, because like in the computer, we say we always go in the do loop, and then never ending. Do loop never ends.
The end result was you didn't go home early, you were in the office on the weekend. And that people at home might finally say, Dad, that was wrong. So that's how it is.
One thing, Deepakanandji, you made early in the starting of Satsang was knowledge is above intellect. Buddhi
Correct. See again, what is intellect? The same light of knowledge through egoism. And egoism is not complete. Egoism is our limited view, limited bunch of beliefs through which we work. And when you are freed from that egoism, then you are open. That whole sky is open for you. Egoism means you have certain parts are shrouded. Light comes out through limited holes only, unoccupied holes. But when things are open, then you will see everything as it is. You have full picture of 360-degree happening. But when that is not there, wherever your vision is blocked by your insistence, then that will not work. The other part, the open part, will not work. But that insistence part will work and make things happen. And that's how things happen.
Then there is light, there are beliefs, and now due to beliefs, I see through belief.
Yes.
Then isn't our Jnana also correcting the belief, because we say wrong belief, right belief?
Gradually, yes. We gradually learn to identify our wrong beliefs, and you don't succumb and surrender to that wrong belief, and you go beyond that. But certain times, when you're not able to see, you follow that belief, you end up suffering, and then your eyes open and you analyze and you come to know your mistake. But when you encountered that, you never understood that it was wrong. But after passing through the result and suffering, that opened your eye that that was wrong.
Somewhere?
Right? So this is
Now,
how
how can I know my wrong belief earlier enough that I don't go through the suffering?
you know what is this knowledge light? Wonderful question. Knowledge light is far-reaching light that one sparkle of belief, it will show the end result of that belief. How it is going to lead you, where it is going to lead you, what would be the nature of that suffering and all that. And at times, even when you know that this is going to be the result, circumstantial evidences don't allow you to change the situation. And you are compelled to follow that and you end up suffering. But then you don't suffer much because you already foreseen that this is going to happen. Right?
Right.
But this is there. So that's how knowledge light is above all. But when things are destined to happen, determined to happen, then even that knowledge light doesn't play its part. But you are forced to follow your decision, which finally ends up in that suffering, which finally opens your eyes, make you realize your mistake, that was wrong. So when such a thing happens, it comes to your conviction that this is wrong. When that happens, whenever or anytime you encounter that situation and this thing pops up, it will be a big cross on your side. No, no way, we are not doing it. Do you understand? Because of your conviction.
Right. So if I give an example, let's say you are scolding me for some or the other thing, right?
Right.
And that situation came, that now you are scolding me. Of course, there is something I have done, something I spoke wrong. That's why that situation came.
Right.
Right. Now, in that situation, when you are scolding me, what Akshay should keep, that anything pops up that he's a doer or he's wrong, he doesn't understand me, all of those things that pop up,
Correct.
Are to be corrected.
I'll take one part. One thing, when I am in my very balanced state and I come to know your mistake, then although I'm scolding, but I'm scolding with a lot of care, lot of protection, lot of, how do you say that, with total foresight. And the basic part is, even while I'm scolding, I see to it that I'm not hurting your ego. That is the part. But when I'm not that alert, I'm not that watchful, I'm not careful, then I may end up hurting your ego. That possibility is there. Now, let us see from your side. If you are totally devoted, not me as individual, but Dada as knowledge, then what you would say, he's not crazy, he's not mad that he should scold me. He would never scold me. I must have done something wrong, which I'm not able to see, and he's able to see. So that closes that door, totally blaming the other person. In this matter, blaming me. But if that is not there, then there are every possibility you blame the other person. You may not be able, you may not say anything, but you will, at the back of your mind, you will say, he doesn't understand me, he's not understanding my point, why I said this was there, that was there. Right? So, okay, outside you will say, yes, it's true, okay, I accept my mistake. But back of your mind, you know that he haven't understood me correctly. Right? So that's how. things happen. But then finally, I believe one thing, if I'm wrong, God cannot stop me. God cannot scold me. Period. Only when I'm wrong somewhere, somehow, someone will raise an objection on my part. In principle.
Then
I don't have to do any analysis. This is the finality.
Right. Then a question here in the same lines. When we are dealing with people, sometimes because we don't want other one's ego to be hurt, there is always a question.
Very important. Very important.
Am I doing right? Am I doing right or wrong?
Again. When your motive is very clear that you are not seeing that person as a doer, but his nimit, that his instrumental contribution to the situation is not appropriate, is not right. Then with that understanding, when you are dealing in the situation, you are just playing your part instrumentally.
Right.
You understand that his contribution was also instrumental, but now you have to play your part instrumentally so that you're not blaming the person. When you're not blaming the person, you will definitely not hurt his ego, because you will always be careful. Naturally, it will happen. The word you use, the tone you say, how much harshly you say, how many words you use, everything will come into your awareness very nicely. And still after doing all that, you'll be correcting yourself. So in that part, in that whole situation, you won't be hurting the other person's ego. And finally, because other people saw you scolding that person, that also will get corrected. Because afterwards, if people come to him and say, your boss scolded you so badly. No, but he came and said sorry to me, even after doing all this. Correct?
Right.
That's what. It is very interesting. It is very interesting and it is very live. That is the best part of our living. And every situation is unique. It may apparently look similar or so, but it is not. Every situation appears similar, but it is never similar. Like that.
No, this is a live exam, as you are telling.
Yes,
me.
exactly.
Every time on Taskaran asks question, we have to answer.
Yes, and it's always there.
Always
This
constant.
kid is what you say, naughty kid is always there with question. And you have to be ready with perfect answer without getting irritated. You can't even make faces. That's all. It's very interesting. What happened to Niskru today?
Okay.
No question. Niskru?
Okay. Anybody else?
Yes, JSS.
Okay, then we'll end Deepakanandji. Oh, okay. Your question?
No
Okay.
question.
Okay, we'll end then. Deepakanandji.
Oh, fine, no problem. Yeah.
Akshay, please follow.
Namo Vitragai.
Namo Vitragai.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Vasayanam.
Namo Loe Sava Sahunam.
Namo Loe Sawa Sahunam.
Eso Panchanamukaro.
Eso Panchanamukaro.
Savapa Vappanasano.
Sauvapa Vappanasano.
Mangalanam cha Sauvesim.
Mangalanam cha Sauvesim.
Padmam Havai Mangalam.
Padmam Havai Mangalam.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand.